Hey, what's up guys? Alexander, your ATFA body mind coach. I tell you what, I'm getting some big smiles out today in the Ribble Valley. I don't think it's me though, it's this beautiful sunshine that we're having. So when I wrote that post this morning about my motivation protocol, in my head I thought it was about 3 different points I was going to make, and then I started writing and I kept writing, and yeah, it was, man, I do a lot of stuff actually that I didn't realise. And what I didn't mention in the post as well, I think it helps to have a girlfriend who's happy to put up with my high level neuroses. So thank you, Beth. I really appreciate your tolerance for my ways. So yeah, I just thought I'd make a video. I've had a similar conversation with several people recently in regards to things like training intensity and anxiety around training. So something that a lot of people experience is a reluctance to train, and anxious feelings before training, or just plain not training when they think or believe that they should do. And there's something that you need to remember. So your subconscious mind is super intelligent. We're talking its ability to process like 10 billion bits of information per second. So it's not daft. And the way that your subconscious mind works, it puts together all the data, all the information that it's picking up, and it funnels it into a sensation within the body that kind of emanates from the solar plexus, a little bit in the chest, a little bit in the belly, which I call the emotional center. And yeah, that basically, it communicates with us via these sensations, which we call emotions. And so if you're getting the emotion of apprehension and resistance to a type of exercise that you're familiar with, or to a workout that you're familiar with, it's probably because you're going too hard. And your body knows that it's not necessarily good for you. So a technique that absolutely game changed my training was something called the MAF, the maximum aerobic function, the Maffetone method. And it's basically a formula where you basically subtract your age from 180, and then there's another couple of calculations as well, and it kind of gives you a maximum heart rate, which is your maximum aerobic function. And it's basically like a heart rate limit that kind of represents the highest you want your heart rate to go, and within that you can train truly aerobically, and you can basically keep training under that heart rate for as long as you want without taking damage. And yeah, it was a massive game changer for me. When I first started using it several years ago, it was off the back of sort of multiple injuries, multiple kind of incidents of stress and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's times that, I wanted to work out, I wanted to do that HIIT workout, I wanted to lift weights, but I just wasn't doing it. And then when I learned about this method and I started applying it to the way that I trained, it was challenging. It was discipline. It was a different type of discipline that I hadn't really come across before. Because a lot of time we think of discipline as kind of pushing yourself, and actually a lot of us don't need that. We don't need to push ourselves any harder. We actually need to be more controlled in our application and more conscious in the way that we train, the way we move, the way we exercise. And so one of the kind of stark lessons that I got from training in the Maffetone way is that it's okay to feel like you could always go a little bit harder. It's okay to feel like you could always go a little bit further, and so you've always got a little bit left in the tank at the end. From an energy perspective, it makes perfect sense, because you need some energy left over to recover and to rebuild after the session. And it kind of, as a philosophy, I've allowed it to permeate through the rest of my life as well, because I used to be like, go hard or go home all day, every day. And if I hadn't completely emptied my tank at the end of a day of work, then, I wouldn't give myself credit. And guess what? I burnt out multiple times, too many times to mention. And yeah, so it doesn't work for me. And so when I'm training, I'm working with people now, we always use this method. I'll put it in the comments below, like a link to his website. He's got like a free ebook and stuff like that these days. And yeah, and something else that I've applied. So if I'm training weights and lifting or doing plyometrics, things like that, then I'll always wait for my heart rate to drop below 100 in between sets. I just kind of came up with that number myself, and it just works beautifully. Because like I say, it allows me and my clients to train as many days as they want in a row for as long as they want, without taking damage, without getting injured. In fact, I've got one guy at the moment I'm working with. He's gone from being completely sedentary to training 6 days a week, like up to 2 hours at a time, no injuries. He feels great, and he just can't get over how good he feels, which again is my philosophy, is above and beyond sort of anything too aesthetic. Anyway, yeah, so if you're apprehensive to train, or you're resistant to training, or you're just not doing it, then just try slowing down a little bit. Absolutely, I'd recommend getting a, oh, someone there, hello. I'd recommend getting a chest strap, because they're so much more accurate than the wrist strap monitors, because I've got a Garmin wrist strap, nonsense, chest strap, brilliant. So I'd highly recommend getting one of those. And if you're resistant to doing that, then just slow down. Just go at 2/3, half the pace that you normally do. Take twice as long in between sets, and just see how you feel. And you'll notice that you can't wait to train. You know, it's not an effort to train, because your nervous system is not daft, and it will learn that what you're doing is both enjoyable and good for you, and helping you move towards your goals. So that's quite a long post there. That's quite a lot of waffle. So if you stuck it out to here, well done, you're brilliant. And yeah, have a fabulous day. Peace.